Hey everybody, it's Connie Stewart. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to my YouTube premiere. I'm very excited about tonight's projects. I've got 3 Valentine cards or little lovey-dovey cards for you. And I like to call them my now, my wow, or my holy cow. These are some really fantastic cards. Before we get started stamping, I want to give everyone a chance to get logged into their YouTube account. Guys, I'm sitting over there in the chat room right now. I'd love to chat with you, but you do have to be logged in to your YouTube account in order to comment and in order to chat. So do yourself a favor, let's go ahead and get logged in now. And if you have already logged in and you haven't subscribed, take a second to go ahead and click that big red subscribe button. You can't miss it. It's great big and it's red. And then right next to that subscribe button, there should be a bell. And if you'll click that bell, YouTube will give you a notification the next time I'm on with a new video. So yeah, let's take a second to do that. All right, hopefully everyone's logged in. Do you have your beverage for the night? I've got my coffee sitting over there. Yeah, a little caffeine to get me going. My coffee's over there at my stamp table and I am ready to go. Let me share with you the 3 cards we're going to be creating tonight. As I said, we're going to make a now. This one can be made in a hurry. We've got a wow, a little more stepped up version, a little bling. And the one I like to call, holy cow, look at all that. This is a really fun one. We've got a lot of glitz and glam on this card. Now listen, I want you guys to relax. I want you to have a good time tonight. So don't worry about jotting down the measurements for the cards. If you'll head over to simplysimplestamping.com, Thursday, January 31st, that's tomorrow, at 7 a.m. Central Time. I'll have all the measurements there for you, the complete supply list. I want you to just have a good time and chat with me tonight. So let's talk about the stamp set we're using. Our featured stamp set tonight is Meant to Be. Guys, this is a fantastic set and it is one of our new cling stamps. I want to take a minute to just explain cling stamps because they are so different than our clear mount stamps and I want to make sure you know how to use them correctly. So basically it's a new type of sticker that's going to go on the back of your stamps. It used to be vinyl and now it's sticky, so sticky it even sticks to me. But all we have to do is just lay the stamp on. We don't have to worry about it falling off anymore. It sticks really nicely. When you go to peel it off, you want to get it at the edge and peel back. All right, it's a really great new type of mounting system. I'm very happy with it. I think you will too. So let's talk a little bit about the stamp set itself. So we've got 13 images in this set. I love that we have our sentiments. We have lots of different hearts. Remember, this set is not just for Valentine's Day, but I'm glad we have a happy Valentine's Day. But look at this. To the best friend a girl could ever ask for. I love that. And I know my daughter is going to want to make some cards for her friends with that one. Meant to Be, Just for You. You Make Me Happy, and I Love Our Life Together. Again, these are going to be great cards for friendship, for hubbies, for Valentine's, for anniversary, wedding, all kinds of different occasions. All right, let's go ahead and get started with our now card. So if you're in a hurry, this is going to be the card for you. I have a piece of Whisper White thick cardstock, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4 inches. I have a piece of Real Red cardstock, 2.5 by 2.5, and then a layering piece of Whisper White, 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. I've also got a couple strips here in Real Red. I have a 1 inch by 3 3/4, and I have a 3/4 inch by 3 3/4. I've also got just a little baker's twine bow. We're going to be using baker's twine today, and we'll just be using 1 ink pad today. We're going to use Real Red. So let's go ahead and pop this open. I'm going to begin with this heart that has these sweet little flowers on the side. I like this one because it's open. We're going to stamp this right here in the center of our cardstock. I'm now going to come in with that little striped heart, and we're going to stamp that just down at the bottom and to the right. Now we have 3 options for our sentiment. I love our life together, you make me happy, or to the best friend a girl could ever ask for. How about we make this a nice little friendship card? I've inked my sentiment in real red. We're going to stamp this to the right side of that 3/4 by 3 3/4 piece of Whisper White. Even for my girlfriends, I like to have a Valentine's Day card, so let's stamp Happy Valentine's Day. And we have a couple of little hearts that are going to be really nice here. We're going to stamp one right there. Let's take this little solid one and we'll put it right there. All right, I'm putting snail here on the back of my strip where I've stamped. You can see I've already adhered that one together, so it's ready to go. We can place that right there. Let's put this card together. I've placed adhesive here on the back. We're going to line it up with the right side of the card. I can now put adhesive here on my stamped focal image. We will add that just to the left side. And now for that little bow, I'm going to take a glue dot and I'm just going to kind of roll it together. You can see it kind of rolls itself when you take it off, so just roll it in a tiny little ball. And I'm going to place that right there next to my sentiment and add that little baker's twine bow. Even though it's a now card, I like to add just a little bit of texture, just to give it a little bit of something. There we go. We have our now card. Earlier I shared with you about the meant to be stamp set, but now let's talk about the meant to be bundle and all of these amazing framelits. When you purchase the stamp set and the framelits together, you do get a discount of 10%. And hey, I love to save 10%. But I've got to tell you, this set of framelits, it comes with 16 framelits. But guys, I'm going to share with you how this makes, I don't know, about 100 different framelits when it's all said and done. These things layer and do all kinds of amazing things. But you know what? I'm going to show you rather than talk about it. We're going to start with the big framelit here, and it produces that. You get a really nice little detail. Now, this heart here in the center cuts out that piece right there. So you kind of get two hearts from one framelit. But then we have this one that layers inside. Let me show you what this one will do. It gives you a nice little stitched heart, and that's really sweet. I like that one, especially if you wanted to do that on a card and have that kind of as an accent in the background. But let's take it one step further. I can also die cut that. So remember, that's this die. If I run it through with this die, I get this. So now I have a stitched heart and a pretty little lacy outline. I think this would be really pretty if you did it in a different color. So I just did it there in white. But remember, it's also going to cut out another great big heart. So I can kind of get sort of two for the price of one there. If you like that one, how about we do it again with some smaller hearts? When I die cut this, I get these two hearts. But if I come in and layer that together, I'm going to get that heart. And you can see we get just a little extra stitching. And then just as we did before, if we did one in another color, we kind of get to double dip again. We also have a set of more elongated hearts, and let me show you what these look like. So you can see this one has the stitching there on the edge. Now with this little bit smaller one, we get a smaller image, but here we go, guys. Look at that. That can layer right inside, and that stitched image shows up. I love that. Now these two here, this one fits one of the stamped images. And then I just stamped that same image again and die cut it with the smaller one. So that way I could kind of, again, I got to double dip with that one there. Now let me show you this one. I think this one's really sweet. First, it does come with a matching stamp. You can see we get stitched and we get that little lace trim out of that little heart. This one, I must say, is one of my favorites. It just gives a really nice, real delicate die cut. I love the detail in this one, but I have to show you how amazing it is when you do it with glimmer paper. Oh my goodness, talk about sparkle. I love it. Really a fabulous little die. And I don't know if I showed this one before, but this one, this smaller one, it's actually going to cut a solid heart out. plus it will have the outline. That is what is going to cut from that die, are those two pieces. But look what happens when I layer that right there on that detailed die cut. When I layer it right here, all that beautiful scallop and the beautiful detail really makes that stamped image absolutely amazing. So this one here, you can see it just leaves just an impression behind. So you could put some hearts randomly all over a card base just using the one die. And then you could come in with that little detailed one. It can sit here off to the side. But again, we just start adding layer upon layer of hearts. You'd think I'm done, wouldn't you? No, we're not even close. Look at this. We've got this really great cluster of hearts. This is what it looks like when it's die cut. Isn't that wonderful? This would be really great just adhered as a focal image on a card, but you also get 21 hearts. You get 21 little hearts that you could scatter around. I have 20 because I dropped one on the floor and I can't find it. But look at all those wonderful little hearts that is going to die cut for me. And as they say, but wait, there's more. Those hearts actually match up with two of the stamps from the stamp set. To match all those great scallops that we have in the framelits, we also have a 6-inch border. I like that they've made it a little bit longer. It allows me to have plenty of room for a 5.5-inch card. But look at that. We get a scallop and we get a little stitched line. So cute. This is also going to be a great little accent piece. You see, we get 6 of these. If you wanted more, let's say you wanted to go all the way across a card, you would just lay it down and die cut some more. But look at that. Isn't that just a sweet little accent? I like. No, we're not done. There's more. I told you, the framelits just keep on going. Look at this little sweet border. And this could be a piece. Well, let me just bring in this so you could kind of see, but it could be a great little accent piece for any small focal image. I like that one. Let's keep going. We have a wonderful little rose die cut. I think this would be really nice there on the edge of a card or just to dress up an ordinary card. And now our last one, just again, a little accent piece that's going to be really sweet. You could even do 2 of these and make it into a little flower. I think you can see why I was so excited about this bundle. It does so much more than 16 die cuts. It just kept going and going. I don't even know if I showed them all. I hope I did. Are you ready to step it up? Let's create a wow card. So I've got a piece of real red cardstock that is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Then my card base, and let me show you, this is a cut a little bit smaller so that that red peeks around. This is Whisper White Thick, and I have this cut at 5 1/4 by 8 inches, scored at 4 inches. Now for our Whisper White, this piece here is 2 1/2 by 4 inches, but really it's just a scrap. So somewhere about that size for a scrap. This piece here is 2 1/2 by 2 1/2. And this one here is just like the other one. So this is going to be our little banner, 3/4 inch by 3 3/4. I've got 2 pieces of real red, 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. And then this one here, again, is like the last one. And that is 1 inch by 3 3/4 inch. And last, we've got another little baker's twine bow. Let's come back in with our real red ink pad. And I will stamp a heart right there. And then that same little striped heart that we used earlier, we're going to stamp that one. We've now got a couple options open to us. So we've stamped these. You can fussy cut these. Guys, I fussy cutted them earlier. It's a heart. It really was a pretty easy thing to just cut. But if you have the framelits, if you have the Big Shot, let's make it easy and die cut these hearts. And you can die cut this just by placing it there on your Big Shot. I'm going to use the magnetic platform today. I've been using it a lot here lately, and I can just line up those framelits, and of course it kind of magnets right down. That's really nice. Let's get these all straight so that we get a nice even cut, and we can run that through the Big Shot. I did want to point out though that when I ran that through the die, I did get this extra cut. Now I'm going to save this for another project, but I did want you to be aware that that is in the die and you're going to want to remove that. So for my wow card, I thought I would use the sentiment, "You make me happy." We're going to stamp that just like we did before. This is that 3/4 inch white strip. Let's stamp this here on the right side. You know what? I'm not happy with it. I am not. It did not make me happy. So I'm going to flip that over. I want to stamp it again. I got a little crooked, but it is a great way for me to show you that our Whisper White cardstock is so thick that that color doesn't bleed through. I can stamp here on the other side. So I get to try that again. And that looks a little bit better. Okay, let's go ahead and adhere this down the same way we just adhered the last one. So I can cover up my unhappy happy. And for the inside of this card, we're gonna go "Just for you." We'll come back in with those same hearts, just like we did. Why not? It's easy and it looks adorable. And it's time to put all this together. So I will put some snail here on the back of my 2 1/4 by 2 1/4 real red. We'll center that up in the 2 1/2 by 2 1/2 Whisper White. I'm going to bring my card base in. I want to make sure I have it right side up. Let's go ahead and put adhesive here on these squares. I want to line this up here on the left side. I'm kind of lining it up this way. So over there on the left. Now we're going to take our sentiment. We'll put adhesive on the back of the sentiment. And I'm going to line that up there with the side of my card base. And now to adhere our hearts, we're going to give it a little pop. I love working with dimensionals. Again, I think this is what many times sets one of my cards apart from anything that you can pick up at a store. So I'm going to center that in my square. I'm going to take one more dimensional. I'm going to put it right next to that heart. And then I can add my additional one. Remember, if you fussy cut it, I think that looks adorable too. You are fine. And now we're going to take our bow, our baker's twine bow, and just as we did before, we'll take a mini glue dot, roll it, but this time we're going to put it in the center of this heart. So let's add that little bow right there. That's really sweet, but I wanted to make it a wow. You know what makes anything a wow? Bling, right? Am I right? We got to have some bling. So I'm going to take some of our adhesive backed rhinestones. I'm using my take your pick tool. I find it's a little bit easier to pick them up, and we'll just randomly place a few of those. I think that just steps it up a notch. And I got so busy blinging, I forgot to add it to the back. So let's take our actual card, and this is going to layer right there onto that real red. And see how that just gives it that extra layer of wowness? We have our now, we have our wow. Now let's make holy cow. All right, you know when you see glimmer paper coming in, it's a holy cow, but here we go. So my card base is Whisper White thick, and that is 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, scored at 4 1/4 inch. I have a piece of real red that will layer on top of that 4 inches by 5 1/4. A piece of Whisper White that will layer on top of that 3 3/4 by 5 inch. We're going to do that same banner. So real red is 1 inch by 3 3/4. Whisper White is 3/4 inch by 3 3/4 inch. I have a piece of Whisper White, same as before, that was 2 1/2 by 4 inches, but again, it is just a piece of scrap. And then I have some of our gold glimmer paper, 3 inches by 4 inches, and another small piece of baker's twine. But I left the tails a little longer on this one. You'll see why I did that in just a minute. All right, we're going to do our stamping. We're going to start with the same heart that we did at the very beginning. Remember this one. We're going to stamp that one on the left side. And just as we did before, we stamped that little striped heart. So our last little sentiment is, I love our life together. So because this is a holy cow card, this one's going to be for my sweetheart. This is going to be for Mr. Awesome. So I'm going to stamp, I love our life together. Again, just as we've done there on the right side. Oh, good. I got that one right. Yay. Okay, let's go ahead. Again, you guys have seen me do it. Let's adhere these together. I'm now going to use my Big Shot platform because we're going to do some embossing. I have the Layered Leaves embossing folder. I thought this one was just really elegant with this card. So we're going to take that 3 3/4 by 5 inch Whisper White. We'll place that inside our embossing folder. This is one of our dynamic embossing folders, so there's no additional platform here, no cutting plate. It's going to go directly on there. A top cutting plate to secure it, and we run that through our Big Shot. See how pretty that is? I love this embossing folder. All right, we're going to come in with our framelits. We're going to start with this one. Remember this one with all those great hearts. I'm going to die cut that from the center of my Real Red, right there in the center. So I've got a bottom cutting plate, a top cutting plate. Let's run that through. I'm going to do it a few times because I've got a lot of kind of delicate hearts there. So I want to make sure I get all those cut. All right, there's all my hearts, but remember, I have a die in here. So I'm just gonna use my Take Your Pick tool. You can also use your Big Shot brush. I just happen to have my Take Your Pick tool nearby. We're gonna very gently remove this from the die. There's all of our pieces. We do need this. Let's set that off to the side and set our hearts off to the side as well. All right, now with our gold glimmer paper, we're going to take that big detailed heart, that really, really pretty one. We're going to place that here on our die. And now we're going to take our hearts, and yes, it's hanging off the edge. I'm not worried about it because I only need a few. So we're gonna try to get as many as we can. Let's now get a top cutting plate. And just as we did before, we're going to run it through our Big Shot. We've got a detailed die, so I'm going to go through 3 or 4 times. As I said, you can come through with your Big Shot brush. This kind of helps get all those little things out of there. I really like using this brush. It does the job so well. All right, there we go. I want to make sure I got everything. If you find that you missed a little piece, you can just come back in with your Take Your Pick tool and pull any of those out. And hey, while I've got my Take Your Pick tool, let's just give these a quick pop. Die brush works too, but we want to get all our hearts out. We have one last thing to run through our Big Shot. And these are the same as we did on our wow card. So we can just place our framelits. Let's go ahead and run that last piece through. Okay, let's make some really holy cow wow. So what we want to do is we want to adhere our embossed cardstock. We're going to cover up what we did there when we die cut our hearts. We don't want to see that. So let's cover that up like so. What I do is work on the inside of my card, and I'm going to want to attach these red hearts here on the side. Let me share with you my fun trick for adhering detailed die cuts. I have got a piece of Stampin' Sponge, and I put a little binder clip on it so I don't get my fingers all gluey. But I have my silicone craft sheet here and our multi-purpose glue. I'm going to put a little dot of glue right there. I'm going to take my die cut face down. And I want to make sure wherever I'm working, it stays right there, because what we're going to do is we're going to take this little sponge. I'm going to pick up that glue and tap. This is why I don't want that die cut to move around, because I don't want to pick up any of that excess glue. But this is going to allow me to get glue just where I need it. I can gently lift that, and we're going to add it right there on the left side of our card. Look, it all glues down so well. I love that. Now, just a quick little tip here. We're gonna take my little gluey sponge, keep it in an airtight container. I will tell you this one, after a while, it'll get super gluey and get really sticky. Whack it off, and you can keep going until I guess you're down to a nub, and then it's time for another little tiny piece of sponge. But I think I get 6 out of these out of one sponge, and I just keep trimming it down as needed. But a little airtight container will make it last for a long, long time. This glue, rinse it off with cold water. It's gonna come right off. So you remember all those gold hearts that we cut out? Let's put those to work for us. We're gonna use these here on our little layout. I had my Tombow glue out, so I'm just going to use that. but we're going to randomly put them. You can actually put them inside the actual heart, but I kind of thought I wanted to be a little more random than that. So we're just going to add, maybe about 5 or 6 of these, whatever makes you happy. As I was adhering these down, it kind of reminded me though, I'm going to need 4 of these for the front of my card. So I picked 2 identicals and then 2 that are a little bit smaller. So I want to set those off to the side. I don't want to accidentally take those. We're going to need them. But yeah, so whatever's left, have fun, glue away. All right, I think that looks really nice. I even have a few more left over. Like I said, I'm going to come back in with my Real Red ink pad so that I can stamp meant to be. And 1 little heart, 1 more gold heart for fun. I've placed snail adhesive on the back of that. We can add it now to our card front. I need to adhere these 2 pieces together. And honestly, I think what's going to be best is going to be Stampin' Dimensionals. So I want to just line that up and then come in with Stampin' Dimensionals to just hold it in place. Now I do want to be careful not to come up in this area where there are holes, if you will. They're going to see that. So we want to make sure we kind of keep this here to the inside. All right, so I have these 2 pieces adhered together. It's going to come all the way over to the right, but let me show you. When I put my heart here, a little bit of that shows. So I want to cut that first. No one's going to see this. So we're just going to cut it at a little angle there. And we can put adhesive on the back of that. Like I said, I'm going to guess I'm about, 1/3 of the way down. Adhere that. Remember, I have dimensionals on the back of my heart. All right, we peel off those backings. We're going to put our gorgeous little glimmered heart right there. This one is going to adhere right to the side. You can see I only want adhesive on one side of that heart. And we can add that right there. See how it all kind of fills in really well? I like that. Are you ready for our last little bit? We're going to have some fun with this baker's twine bow. Are you ready? Let's come in with those red hearts, and I need 2 that are a larger size and 2 that are a little bit that kind of more medium size. I've been using my multi-purpose glue, so I'll go ahead. But listen, guys, the glue dots would work great here too. Let's put little dots of glue on the front of our hearts. I'm going to use the putty side of my Take Your Pick tool, and you can see we can just adhere a heart. So we'll put those little bit larger ones, but you see it allows the red to show through. Now let's take those smaller ones and they go right inside there. Now I'll go ahead and show you how you could do this technique with the glue dots, but you would just press that. So we're going to place our baker's twine right on that glue dot. I'm going to come in with another one and we'll give this heart a press. You kind of do need double duty on this one to get this to stick. And now we'll layer these together. Don't press it down just yet, so that you can line them up. Can you see our little dangling heart? Okay, we're going to repeat that with this one here. And just as we did before, we can adhere those together. Ooh, so sweet. It's time to add this to our card, but I am going to come in with the glue dots the way we did before because I want to make sure these hold really well. It's just so sweet, isn't it? Look at that. We're going to put this little glue dot right underneath our Better Together, our Life. I love Our Life Together. I'll get it together, guys. And then we can add our baker's twine bow. That is a holy cow. Look at that. I think it's fantastic. Well, guys, I hope that you enjoyed the cards tonight. I'm curious. You need to tell me which one was your favorite. I think I'm partial to Holy Cow. I love those dangling hearts. That's just too much fun. I love cards with that little bit of extra oomph. You know, I really do. Well, I hope that you enjoyed them too. Guys, I had so much fun being live with you and being able to chat with you during the premiere. So a huge shout out and a thank you to all of you who joined in. But hey, even if you're watching this on replay, leave me a comment. I'll be popping in from time to time to read those and respond to you. Again, I just want to have that opportunity to kind of connect with everybody. So if you would like more information about the cards that we created tonight, if you wanted to grab those measurements or see that complete supply list, here's what you can do. Thursday, January 31st, 2019, head over to simplysimplestamping.com. That is my website, and I'll have everything posted there. So you can grab your measurements. Like I said, you can see the supply list. And hey, if you're ready to place an order, you can order the meant to be stamp set or the bundle. Remember, you save 10% when you order the bundle, and you can find all the information right there at simplysimplestamping.com. All right, my friends, that wraps things up for me. I hope that you will join me for my next YouTube premiere, which will be Wednesday, February 13th, 2019, 7 p.m. Central Time, right back here on my channel, Connie Stewart. Hey, remember, if you didn't already do it, click that subscribe button and click that bell. I'd love to have you as a subscriber because there's a lot more videos between now and February 13th. So we'll see you guys on the next video when you tune in. Have a fabulous night. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.